Ho, 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 and welcome to another Godfather Minute. My name is Alex Robinson.
And I'm Andy Robinson.
Together we are the Godfather Minute Brothers. How are you doing today?
I'm doing really well. I love the December holiday season.
Yes, we didn't acknowledge it, but your birthday recently passed. I guess it was last week we should have acknowledged it.
That's right.
So, belated happy birthday.
Thank you.
Did you do anything special for your birthday?
My pop got me one of those rail riders, those new sleds.
Those, flexible flyer.
Flexible flyer.
Flexible flyer.
Flexible flyer. Yeah, and we drank shrimp cocktails.
You know what I got you?
What?
I got you a little present. I got you one of those little electric cars that you can ride around in.
Oh, you're going to bring it to where I play with my toys?
Yep. Well, yes, this is the podcast in which we go through the whole Godfather movie minute by minute, blah, 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 blah. Today we're talking about minute 73. Oh my gosh, we're all wrapped up in this holiday madness.
Yeah.
So we're talking about minute 73.
Yeah, they told me do minute 72, 73, 74. So I said, sure. Whatever you need me to do.
I have my own podcast, Senator. So minute 73, which I'm going to guess is minuto numero.
Oh, you ready for your lesson?
It's not say
no,
sanga.
And I have to confess, I've been feeding you the wrong information.
I totally knew that. There's no way this language could be that nonsensical.
For all the 70s, I was having you say the 60s. Dude, you're
say Santa.
That's 60.
Yeah, but I thought last time it was a different one. What was
no, I look back at Se Santa. That's all the 60s should have been like sessantuno, sessantadue, sessantatré.
Yeah.
And then when we went to 70, I had you continuing to do Se Santa.
So did you have me saying 63, 64 again? Or were you having me say 60, 14, 60, 15?
No,
60,
I had you going back a decade. So I'm not sure if we should go back and splice them or whether we need to re-record them.
I say we just re-record the whole
thing, right?
The whole thing, starting from minute one.
I guess if we want to be consistent.
Yeah, because otherwise it'll sound weird. We'll sound suddenly like a week older.
That's true. But
what is 70 then?
Wait, does that mean what people are listening to right now is the new version?
This is the re-recorded one.
All the way back to minute one. So
right.
We actually did this 3 years ago, but re-recorded them all.
That's right. Now you're getting it.
Okay. So, Alex, minuto
numero
73.
70?
Yeah.
Are you sure we
It's
didn't?
not 60, it's 70.
I know, but I could have sworn we did it. But you've listened to it more than I do.
Go
Okay.
back
Anyway,
and listen.
70 nuevo.
No.
What is it?
73.
73.
73.
73.
You got it.
Okay. Well, in minute 73 of The Godfather, it's basically Sonny wants to go to war over this Salazzo business. And the minute is taken up with Tom rationally and trying to get him not to participate. He wants him to sit down with Salazzo, see what he has to say.
Yeah, that's reasonable.
Sonny's not hearing it.
No, definitely not hearing it.
So Tom says to Sonny, quote, "Your father wouldn't want to hear this. It's business, not personal."
That's true.
Now, the "it's business, not personal" comes up several times. Mm-hmm. But I don't think we ever hear the Don actually say it. Which makes me wonder if this is just is that something that Don would agree with?
Oh, interesting.
Or is this a next generation variant on the theme?
Well, in this minute, Tom says your father.
Your father.
Doesn't he say
your father?
Wow, I really didn't even intend that as a joke. I was really thinking. I understand where Enzo's coming from now. I try to put myself in the baker's shoes.
You're really getting the immigrant experience.
Yeah. But doesn't Tom say in this minute that your father would have seen the shooting, his shooting as business, not personal?
Yeah.
So maybe he may not have said that, but I think at least Tom suggests that is the old man's mindset.
Philosophy. And I think we see evidence of that because when they have the meetings of the families, and then the Don gets, disavows any personal vengeance, like he sets aside his personal business. So I don't know if that counts as an example of putting business before personal.
Yeah.
But
doesn't he? And in addition, at that same meeting, doesn't he say? Doesn't he say personal reasons? I have personal reasons.
Yeah.
Or does he say selfish reasons?
Oh, I think he says selfish reasons.
Because my boy, because of this whole Solazzo mess,
Mikey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe he says selfish reasons.
Yeah, I think he does say selfish reasons.
I don't know if we ever hear the old man say the word personal.
Yeah. Because make him an offer he can't refuse. He says that, and then they echo it. The other people, but
I'm gonna make him a personal offer he can't refuse, which is not to say that he should put his business interests aside, because he's got to keep his business close and his personal issues closer.
So it's like anytime someone says, "You got it, Sonny." Anytime someone says personal or business, you just switch it. So they give it the other, like as long as your personal doesnn't interfere with mine, we got no reason to beef.
Do you think Tom coaches everyone who goes to see Don Corleone to talk to him about that before they go in, kind of like in the wedding scene where everyone's in line to go ask him for favors? Like, now, Bonacera, when you go and talk to him, I'd definitely ask for his friendship, but make sure you understand that personal and business are separate. He coaches them through all of that.
Well, it's an ironic choice considering that is Bonacera is the one where the Don does take it personally. He's like not wants to do let me come over. So like that does seem like a personal so there is a personal element to it that Tom yeah. But see, that's the whole thing. They're all, I really love that interpretation that Sonny, Tom, Fredo, and Mikey are all different like aspects of the Don. So Tom, of course, is gonna be like, it's all like he's just pure brain and like it's just we just got to keep the business running and don't get involved in all this blood stuff and but anyway, we'll go talk more about that in the coming minute or so.
Let's see. I want to point out in this minute that when Sonny is laying into Tom, did you notice he picks up a plate of food, starts gathering some food to eat?
Oh no, I didn't.
Almost immediately just puts it down and goes and sits down, and then they continue the conversation.
He realizes he's just like stress eating.
Yeah,
so it's just kind of like well, I've always heard actors love business. Actors love like having things to do with their hands or like.
Oh, really?
Like, because, it's a way you can show character and do something as opposed to just sitting there talking. If you're like playing with, a cigarette or food or a drink or something, it's a.
I know Don Corleone loved to have props because not for that reason, but because he could hide his lines on the prop.
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
Remember him tattooed on the cat on his lap. We probably made that same joke 5 years ago.
I was going to say the cat one. Yeah. But people don't know is Brando originally had lines inscribed on the inside of that orange peel, and then he put the orange peel in his mouth to scare his grandson, and then when he realized that he had smudged all the lines, he said, I have to die now because I don't know what lines to say.
I thought it was that
wasn't even written into the story.
He totally improvised that whole scene.
They had to rewrite the whole second half of the script. He did die. That's right.
Yeah, he did die. Yeah. Or did he? I thought you were saying like the ink poison, like he died from like the ink poisoning.
Yeah.
And then when he died, like on the inside of his lip, you could see the dialogue,
the last dialogue of Marlon Brando. You have to use a mirror to read it though, because it's all in reverse.
And then even then, it's all mumbled. You can't understand what it said.
What do you think it would have been on his upper gum? What would have been the penultimate line? And then on his bottom gum, what would have been his final line that he was supposed to say but never got to say?
I think the last line originally was going to be, and that's why they call me the Godfather.
The last Don.
The last Don. I truly am the last Don. Well, it just said the last, and then because the Don was on a different prop, so he didn't know. That's why he thought he was meant to die. He said, I guess I am the last. He's like, I guess I'm supposed to die.
Yeah.
Because I'm the last one.
Yeah, and he's talking to his grandson, Anthony?
I think so,
Yeah, that's right, because that's Michael's
Yeah.
son, Anthony, right?
No.
Isn't that Michael's son?
Yeah.
Anthony, give your mother a hug.
Yeah. Yeah, the timeline gets confused for me because there's like multiple kids born.
Mm-hmm. And there's some growth spurts.
Yeah. So like the baby that is born at the end, the baby that is being baptized at the end, that is Connie's second kid?
I don't remember.
Because she's
definitely
pregnant
Connie's
earlier
kid.
in the movie.
Yeah, definitely Connie's kid.
Yeah. Anyway, we'll figure that out when we get to it.
We'll get there.
We'll get there. Here's something that kind of surprised me a bit. Sonny and Tom are having this big argument in front of the capo regimes.
Yes.
Is that, you think that's a, what's the deal with that? Should they be doing that, or should it just be like they talk about it in private and then they present a united front? Or is that just because it's like a family and everyone's just squabbling in front of each other? And
I'm glad you bring it up because there's something in the book that also had me confused related to Clemenza's and Tessio's role in this decision.
Okay.
Because they're pretty much deciding what their next step is going to be.
Right.
Should they go and meet with the Turk? What else should they? What are their other options?
should they meet with them? Should they not meet with them?
Yes. Page 131. Tessio and Clemenza were puffing on their cigars uneasily, not daring to speak, but sweating. It would be their skins that would go on the line if the wrong decision was made. Now, does that mean that if the wrong decision was made, they'd be blamed, or that things would go so wrong and their positions would be weakened in the family? Because really, let's be honest, at this point, the Corleone institution legacy is being threatened here.
I guess I took it as a more immediate thing, in that they're kind of like the ground troops. So like Sonny can say, "Oh yeah, let's go in there and whack them," but he just kind of hides out in his little leather suite there. Whereas Clemenza and Tessio presumably are closer to the actual like ground action and stuff.
So you think Sonny's more hands off in a war?
Well, I mean, he's definitely more. He's more hands off than Tessio and Clemenza would be, just because they are like lower in the totem pole, so they're going to get exposed to more fire than that. But I mean, Sonny does seem like definitely the kind of leader who would lead from the saddle, as they say. You know, like he'd be down there mixing it up and stuff. So.
Yeah. I think you're right. That makes sense that Clemenzio.
Is that what their romance? they're melded together.
That's when their capo regimes join forces to increase their muscle power. But I think that's right. They have the most to lose.
Well, or it could just be a matter of if there's a costly war, like their part would lose more money than, say, the Corleone family overall. That would still be taking in money, presumably from
That's true.
other places.
Because they are talking about putting a halt on the family business. Because remember, Sonny shouts at Tom, well, then business will have to suffer.
Business will have to
And that's
suffer,
when Tessio and Clemens are, oh, well, Sonny, have a drink.
Calm down, Sonny. Slam Tessio.
Clemenza, my wife won't go for that. She already wrote the next 15 pages of the script.
Here, Sonny, just read this. Just read what it says here.
Do me a favor, Sonny.
You're right, Tom. We shouldn't go to war. It would be stupid.
It would be stupid. Clemenza, what do you think? Wait, why am I asking Clemenza what he thinks at this point? Oh, Sonny, I don't know. They told me to have you read this.
In fact, I think we should give Clemenza a raise. What? A raise.
I'll raise this.
Yeah, so they do get to see them squabbling the heads of the family.
It's fantastic.
I would love to see a situation, like they said they went to war fairly like 5 years ago or something, right? And that's when, didn't Sonny earn his bones then?
Yeah, and that's when he made his bones and really came into his own as an adult.
So do you think in that situation, when Pop had Jenko, and look who he has. Do you think it was Jenko? Would they have been a similar thing? Would this have been like, instead it would have been Pop and Jenko arguing in front of Sonny, Tessio, and Clemenza?
I think so. Yeah. So I'm guessing Sonny would have been included. He was an adult at that point and the heir to the Corleone empire. So he would have been included. Yeah, probably the capo regimes. Think about Clemenza. But
you
Don
think
Corleone grew up pretty much together in early New York times.
Yeah. But do you think Jenko would have argued with the Don in front of the capo regimes? I guess that's more what I'm thinking of.
Good question.
Because I would think as the Don, you would want someone to, just your orders to kind of be unquestioned.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a really good point.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess Tom and Sonny are getting into this because there's a bit of chaos.
Right. Yeah.
There's a lot of instability. So they're just doing what they can to process it all. Yeah. I think you're probably right that Don would have met privately with Jenko, talked it through, and then he would have later made his decision public to his capo regimes for them to execute.
Right. Like, don't forget, even
execute, not such a good word there.
Because don't forget, even with Luca Brasi, the Don didn't tell anyone other than Luca what remember he had Tom leave and he had everyone leave. He didn't want Tom in on that decision making. So it's an interesting.
It's an interesting dynamic. I have a little bit more. I have something more from the book that's really interesting.
In that it's different than the movie?
It's a little bit different from the movie.
The book is different than the movie. The book is different than the movie. The book is different. The book is different. The book is different than the movie. Yeah.
So in the book and the movie, I think Tom says how McCluskey is getting big money, right? He says McCluskey's on his payroll and for big money. That's what he says. In the book, he also adds that that McCluskey's getting a piece of the drug operation.
Wow.
Yeah, so percentage, which is really incentivizes his role to be Turk's bodyguard, right?
I always wonder how that works.
What do you mean?
Well, like
the percentages and stuff?
Yeah. Is it gross? Is it net? Is it like
the entire operation?
Are there books? Like how does McCluskey know if he's getting the accurate percentage or not? So
I'm not sure how it works. It's probably not a lot of trust going on when you have that much money. Yeah. Yeah. I'm sure it's a lot of money.
It's a lot of money, that white powder. I guess we'll never find out because we never find out how the operation works.
Yeah. Something else from the book that's interesting. Bottom of 130. This is Tom talking to Sonny, trying to convince him to be patient. He says, "Now what you have to understand, Sonny, is that while Sollozzo is guarded like this, he's invulnerable. Nobody has ever gunned down a New York police captain and gotten away with it. The heat in this town would be unbearable. What with the newspapers, the whole police department, the churches, everything."
The churches.
End quote. The churches. I circled that in my notes. What do you make of that?
Well, I guess they have connections with the churches and stuff. And I mean, I'm sure they do donations and build children's camps and things like that. But I don't know. That's an interesting wrinkle to it.
I was wondering if the shooting of a police captain threatens is such a public move for organized crime. The church might get involved, saying, "Hey, we have to do something about this because this really threatens order and our business too." Yeah. My other initial reaction was that I'm guessing most cops then were Irish, and McCluskey's Irish, and so the killing of one of their own, because the church was very Irish too at the time.
That's true.
I don't know how strong a reason that would be. Probably has to come down to money.
It's always the money.
Yeah.
Always the dollars.
Always the money. That's what it said in Don Corleone's upper lip. It said, "Watch out for the churches, Michael."
Churches.
I wanted you to be Bishop Corleone.
It's funny because
Archbishop Corleone.
that doesn't really come into play in the movies until Godfather 3. Until Father Zaza shows up.
Father Archbishop Zaza.
So yeah, we didn't really get into that as much in these movies.
not really.
So, well, speaking of gunning down police captains, I did some research into Tom's claim that no one had ever gunned down a New York City police captain before, and it seems to be true. I went to on the Wikipedia, I think they had a list of all of the New York City police officers who have died in in the line of duty or whatever. And there wasn't a single captain on the list. I think lieutenant was as high as it got. But I did find it interesting. I said, I wonder if McCluskey's listed in the list of dead people.
Wow.
And on January 2nd, 1946, Patrolman Benjamin Wallace was shot by a suspect he and his partner were questioning in a bar and grill. So I'm gonna guess that the police department was like so embarrassed about this whole McCluskey being a crooked cop thing that they kind of like changed his name and kind of changed the details. But it is funny that he was questioning a suspect with a partner in a restaurant. So it's funny. It's a funny,
and the timeline is perfect. It's perfect. January 3rd, 1946.
The only slight hitch is that it took the guy. He didn't die until January 8th. Oh, so obviously, I guess McCluskey could have held on for 6 more days, gurgling and holding his throat.
Oh my gosh,
desperately trying to swallow his veal. The master of the city.
That's they say dying people hang on if they have a reason to live. He wanted to swallow that veal, and when he finally did, he was at peace.
His last words, like veal.
That's fascinating.
Yeah.
One other point about McCluskey. I know in the movie Tom says, "I found out about this Captain McCluskey," and that's when he talks about him being on the payroll of Sollozzo. But in the book, we know that McCluskey had already been on the payroll earlier, on the Corleone's payroll, so they actually knew about McCluskey. They just, I guess, didn't know at this time that he was on Sollozzo's payroll.
It probably would have been too confusing to have him be like, well, he was on our payroll, but now he's on the McCluskey payroll.
Man.
Let's just keep it simple.
Get the W-2s. We got to make sure the dates align.
You need like one of those big charts with the whole hierarchy showing the Don at the top, and then here's McCluskey.
Just for payroll purposes?
Yeah, just for payroll purposes.
Do they have payroll department and human resources?
In the mob?
Yeah. Each mob family. I think we've talked about this.
I mean, they must have some kind of system for distributing money.
Yeah. And recruiting.
Yeah.
My guess is every leader or manager at every level is in charge of taking care of.
That's why. I imagine it's like a trickle down kind of a system. Yeah. And also trickle up because.
Oh yeah.
Actually, it's probably more of a trickle up system because you pay the Don for his political protection. It's not like the Don is giving you money to run your franchise.
Oh, that's true. It's all going up.
Yeah, you're paying him.
And I seem to remember that from The Sopranos, that everyone was earning and they would have to give a certain amount up.
Oh, right. Yeah. They said no matter what, you had to pay X amount every week.
Yeah.
That was your responsibility as a capo regime. So
you're light. You're light this week. What are you going to do about it?
So 2 more items. One is that this is a continuing point of confusion. Is Tom says if you were to kill police captain, all 5 families we'd be outcast. So how are there 5 families or are there 6 families? This is like all 5 families would like turn against us. But I assume the Corleone family would not turn against them. So
I always thought, maybe there are 6 The family, I'm looking in the book, the families would be after you, he wrote. The Corleone family would become outcast. Even the old man's political protections would run for cover. So take that into consideration. I'll have to look back.
In the script, he says it would be nobody has ever gunned down a New York State police captain. Never. It would be disastrous. All 5 families would come after you.
We should do a dueling Tom Hagens for like legal stuff.
Yeah.
If you shoot a police captain in public, you will have to come before a judge in the morning and show cause.
That's a class. That's a class D felony, Sonny.
They shot Sonny on the causeway. So even turning all his lines into aggressive attack ones, right?
Yeah. So the other thing I
They
had,
just might like an article like that. They just might.
no, get the hell out of here! Stand them up.
McCluskey.
So the other thing I have, and it's funny in light of other things we were talking about recently, is during this whole scene between all the squabbling between Tom and Sonny and the going back and forward, there's a calm in the center of the storm that is Mikey, who's just sitting there silently, and in fact he takes his lighter out of his pocket.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Yeah, and he just he's holding the lighter in his hand.
He's admiring his steady hand.
Yes,
before he
funny
speaks.
that's now like his. It's like his totem is like his. It's like his As long as I have you, lighter, I'll never be afraid.
Exactly. Yeah. It's his. What do they call that?
Big deals. Champagne cocktails.
No, what do they have? What do witches call? Oh, familiar.
Familiar? Yeah.
He actually can't be a good steady Don unless he has the lighter. He's like, "Where's my lighter?
So
Where's my lighter?"
It's like the Ring in Lord of the Rings. Like
Yeah.
Fredo picks it up and he's like, yeah, I am smart.
He's like, and he even starts to change the way. So wait, does it really do that, or do people just think that?
No, it really makes you.
Oh, that's great.
And suddenly he's all like, Sonny, you go downtown, talk to the DA. Mikey, go out and get me my car.
Yeah, what they didn't show in the scene where Don Corleone dies is he had just passed the lighter, or he had left it in his office when he goes to play with Anthony.
And then Anthony picks it up and he's like, dun, to be the end? Question mark.
Well, and he starts going, "I can be an opera singer," because it's not just smart. Mamma mia. It gives everyone a power, maybe that they have. Maybe it's like the Wizard of Oz. It develops the power in them that they always crave.
Amplifies your your natural.
No, not what you naturally have. Your deficit.
Oh, right,
Like,
yeah.
Fredo is all self-conscious that he's not smart, so it makes him super smart.
Got it. And he's like, the hypotenuse of a triangle is opposite to the two sides.
My computations lead me to believe that we have to take out Roth, and then we'll make a move on Mill Green, but only for 30% of the hotel. Now, Rocco, I need you to slow down, Fredo. Slow down.
So you're going to have a heart attack. Oh, no, that's no heart attack.
That's not a heart attack. That's arterial thrombosis based on his blood pressure.
Johnny Ola, yeah, I talked to him.
So what power would it give Frankie Five Angels? I really couldn't remember his name. Frankie Five Angels.
Oh, boy, I don't know. It would be...
Maybe patience.
Oh yeah, 'cause it's what you will. It's what you
lack.
It's what you lack.
Yeah.
You know what? I bet it's like a cake or something. Because if he'd known he was coming, he would have prepared. He would have prepared something. I'm just so unprepared for everyone all the time.
He becomes a baker.
He would have liked $100 bills after that.
Yeah.
I take it as a coat.
Enzo, Enzo really does hold the lighter, and he can't light it.
Oh yes. Maybe that's what it was. Maybe Enzo was too bold and too like he was like he didn't have a good enough sense of danger. So when he held the lighter, it amplified his like fears.
Oh, it tempered his courage.
Yeah. Temper your courage with timidity.
But and the other thing it did to Enzo is he used to have a really crazy speech impediment.
Yeah.
But the lighter took some of it away, so he only repeated stuff twice.
Oh, because he used to say it a lot of
like, your father, for your father, your father, for your father. Even the lighter's not powerful to completely make up for the deficit.
Well, it's like Gollum, where he only had it for a short time. Wait, is it Enzo's lighter to start with?
I think so. Yeah, because
or does Mikey take the thing out of his pocket and give it?
Oh, and give it to Enzo,
and then hold the thing for him.
It would be funny if it's Enzo's lighter because Michael still has it.
Like throughout the movie, like Enzo's like knocking on the door, like, "Give me your lighter. Give me your lighter."
Well, he can't ask for it until Michael's daughter's wedding day.
Oh,
and
my
then
God.
Enzo comes back. That's the favor he asks.
People are like, "Oh, you borrowed my lawnmower like 4 years ago. Can I give it back now?" He has no more daughters to marry, though. That was a good incentive to kill Carlo, because then if Connie
that's
remarried, then
right.
there would be. Although the Don was already dead by that point.
Yeah.
So,
Enzo shows up at Michael's daughter's wedding and says, "Be my friend and give me back my lighter."
he's all old and gray, like a beard. Well, that's all I had for minutes. 63.
That's all I have to. 73.
73.
Tre. Yeah.
73. So
got
what do
it.
you want to rate this minute?
I love the fighting. I think it's great. I love seeing the interaction between Sonny and Tom. Both their personalities are exemplified here.
Yes.
I'm giving it a 4.
I was going to say 4 as well. Mm-hmm. You don't know
we
we
don't
should
have
both
to
say our
agree.
number at the same
Oh,
time,
that's a
so
good
we're
idea.
not swayed by the other. Okay, so let's see.
Let's try.
What do you give this one? Ready?
1, 2, 3,
4. Well, 5. Oh, I give it 5.
You give it 5. Wait, are we counting to 3 or are we counting to 4?
We'll figure it out.
All
Figure
right.
it out.
So until next time, we want to plug our bonus content, right?
Yes,
That's right. You have a very special bonus content.
I would say it was very special. That's hyping it up. I saw the Jimmy Caan movie Thief. So another Jimmy Caan movie we'll be talking about in the bonus content. So don't forget to check that out.
Yeah.
And I guess
Until next
until
time,
next time,
try the veal.
It's the best in the city.